Drew, this week we're farmers on a tiny little pocket-sized planet. Let's check it out. Drew, like I said this week, we're farmers on our little planet in Dayland Pocket Planet, and this is a farming simulator that kind of has these Animal Crossing vibes, I want to say, but not as, deep as Animal Crossing is. This is kind of a cool little game. It kind of caught our eye and something we wanted to check out. But jumping in, I did notice this is a pretty simplified version of an Animal Crossing, farming sim style game. What did you think getting into this interesting one?
Well, I think you nailed it, right? It is a very simplified Animal Crossing-esque style game. You are essentially based on a planet by yourself. You've been there the entire time. And then all of a sudden these people show up and go, hey, you're part of a galaxy that I didn't even know your planet was here. Well, that's great. Then go away, because you really don't do much besides give me these little fetch quests that I don't want to really do in the first place. But these people land on your planet and they give you the objectives to help kind of grow and expand your library of, things to do, objectives, things to build, things to craft, and that sort of thing. There's a little bit of combat on here, Corey, as well. It honestly could have been without the combat. My biggest thing, I think, with the game, because you're on a pocket planet, it is essentially a round ball of a planet that you're on. And the camera angle, I think, is what I had the hardest difficulty with playing the game, because the camera angle itself wouldn't allow me to get into where I wanted to be able to adjust to see what I was really doing, right? You're on this sphere, but you're on like the peak of it at most points, right? But you can also zoom out because you'll get nailed with asteroids, or people will show up and want to land on your planet. So there's certain things you could do. I did like the ability to kind of grow out and craft certain things, but dude, it's slow. Like, man, a lot of these games, Animal Crossing had the perfect pace, right? And we're going to compare that to this game because it's really similar, but it is essentially its own thing. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't enough of its own thing for me to really dive into the game. It's only, I have in it for hours, but at the same time, I wanted to be in it for more. And I wanted to go out and take my time and build up my resources, start crafting things. And the way they introduce these objectives sometimes isn't all that clear. I didn't realize I actually had to plant trees in order to get the wood. I'm like, I'm out of wood on this planet. What am I supposed, how am I supposed to, it wants to, you start with a tent, but you want me to build a house. Okay, well, I need to build a house, but I need wood. Where's the wood? Yeah. Well, I had seeds, and I didn't realize I had the seeds in my inventory to plant, which would grow trees. I'm like, once I found that, it kind of opened up everything else, but to get to that point was a little slow.
Yeah, just like you said, the pacing of the game is a little bit slow. It's basically you're going to farm crops or different types of material to either give yourself the ability to upgrade certain things or build new parts of your house. Now that you've gone from a tent to a house, now you've got a kitchen in your house. So there's things you're always improving on, but the pacing comes into play, whereas there's visitors that come to your island. So you'll get prompted on screen that there's somebody that wants to visit, and you get to pick where they land on your little island. You find a clear landing, and they come down, and normally they'll give you a quest, or you'll get to hand in a quest that they've previously given you. And most of these people are also merchants. They allow you to buy different things, and you can sell stuff that you also have, so you can buy certain things. It's cool. The marketplace is there, and I like that aspect of it, but they're only there for 60 seconds. So you have to make sure that you get everything you need done, because they're going to take off, and you don't actually know when they're coming back. And that was my biggest issue. You'll get quests from a couple of these people, and then they don't come back for days and days. So I end up having to just sleep through days just so I can get them to come back and I can complete the quest. So I find that there's kind of some lost empty time there. There's not a ton of stuff to do on your tiny little planet. Yeah. So you really rely on these quests and these people to visit and the ability to be able to trade with them. So the pacing is slow because you're just waiting for these guys. And then every once in a while, you'll have enemies pop up that you have to go fight. And like you said, the combat in this game was just atrocious. You're just pressing reason why, and you're attacking them and they attack you, and it's just, it wasn't done very well, right? We could have done without enemies. I thought the meteorites, the asteroid showers were actually pretty cool. They don't tell you how to deal with that when the first one hits, so you're kind of in a bit of a panic, and essentially it just zooms out your planet, and then you get to rotate your planet and pick and kind of choose where these things are going to hit, or at least have the ability to dodge that they don't hit your crops, because I had that happen and it burns your crops up.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, and it's an absolute mess. The nice thing with the meteorites is that you can just farm them after they've landed already, and a lot of times they have useful things in them. So it was that was kind of a cool little interesting aspect. I like that idea. There wasn't a whole lot of explanation there why it was happening or how to dodge it, at least from the beginning.
No.
But again, this game's simple enough that the first couple of fail attempts, you're going to be able to turn it around and get it right the next time. But again, outside of fetch quests and people showing up, man, there isn't much going on this tiny little pocket planet. I had a tough time sticking with it just because I felt like it was kind of empty.
No, absolutely. I agree. Right? You just have this downtime, and just with Animal Crossing, I always felt like I had something to do. There's always some kind of objective to kind of go out and set my goal. So I made sure I wasn't just sitting around. And when it comes to these kind of games with a farming sim, you don't want to be sitting around all the time. Otherwise, I'm just going to put the game down, right? And that's what we kind of essentially would do. Or you go to your house and you would sleep. And you just sleep to waste the day away in order to get to the next day so someone would show up. Or your trees would grow further. Or your crops would grow quicker. Or, you know what I mean? So you're just kind of fast forwarding the game a bit. And it's unfortunate that there wasn't enough. I would have liked to have seen a bigger planet with more objectives to do. I think that would have helped balance out the game. It is Pocket Planet after all, so yeah, it could be, maybe it's just meant to be played in bite-sized chunks. So you're in, you start doing a couple things, but it doesn't pass the time when you're out of the game. So it's not going to carry things on for you. You got to be in the game. So then what do? You sleep through it instead.
Yeah. All right, Drew, I think we're a little farmed out on our tiny little pocket planets. If you have to give this one a score out of 10, what are you going to give it?
You know what? It wasn't too bad. I enjoyed my time with it, but there was definitely some downtime, and the combat wasn't exactly the highlight of the game either. I do enjoy going out and gathering those resources and crafting and learning the new ability or my next goal kind of thing. So that to me is always a good time. It's very chill, very basic, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. For me, it was a good time. I mean, with me, it's a 6, buddy.
You know what? I'm kind of right in the realm too, man. I think this is a simplified farming sim, and I think people that haven't played these types of games, whether you're young or old, this is an easy one to jump into. You don't have to commit a ton of time to it. It's about $25, which is, I think, maybe a little high for what we're getting here. But again, certain people are going to enjoy this game. It is fun. It's chill, like you said. I think I'm going to give this one a 6.5.
Nice.
A simple, relaxed farming simulator that's easy to jump into, but there's just not a ton of content here for the $25 price tag.